Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 24th of June. The first important news, that is G20 trade union meet emphasize for the global social security. We'll see the details. Second, Micron to produce first semiconductor chip at India plant. This is an agreement between India and US. The recent visit of Prime Minister. These are some of the milestones that we are achieving. Third, that is FCI rejects state request for more food grain. Second last, that is India-US partnership and initiative. The Prime Minister of India is on a visit to United States. So some of the MOUs and agreement that has been there in the different sector, I'll make you understand what are the achievements. And the last is an editorial, that is squaring the circle at the India-Egypt summit. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for the examination, do hit that like button. So starting with this first news, that is G20 trade union meet emphasizes for the global social security, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is bilateral regional grouping and an agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So as you know, India is a current chair for G20 and India will be holding this position till November 2023. Right? So this is the point. Now in that G20, there are different verticals and upon every segment the meeting take place. So the recent meeting was there for the labor engagement group. This is known as G20 Labor Engagement Group. This was there by the Union Minister for Labor and Employment. He said that the unions are something that will be called for the universalization of the social security and the portability of social security fund on empowering the women in the future of work and upskilling women for the workforce in tech incentive environment were treated as a spirit for social dialogue. Now, just to understand, if you see the part of labor in India, right? Labor, although is a concept under the concurrent list, so both state and union have the power to make it. So labor is under the concurrent list, right? First. Now, when you see the part of the labor reform, which recently government has come up, unifying the 29 laws in the labor code, there's 4 labor codes that were there. Now that call for ensuring the social security and the new concept of gig worker, platform worker, and other type of work that is generating call for in recognition. So in that context, the social security universalization was main dominating agenda. The Labor G20 summit held in Patna. This is again venue important for your other examination you will be appearing for, like SSC and banking examination. So from June 21st to 23, this was there, and the multilateral mechanism among G20 members were discussed, and how that the possibility and probability of social security benefits should be given to the maximum population was discussed. Now, जो task force थी, इससे पहले भी कुछ और मीटिंग हुई है. I'll tell you briefly about that. So the inceptions for the meeting of Labor G20 was there in Amritsar when the meeting took place on 18, 19, 20th March 2023. And that has formed the 5 task force on the issues that concerning the global one. The first call for the universal social security. Second is women and future of work. International migration of labor. International probability of social security fund. Fourth is basically the changing world at work, that the new employment opportunities and challenges in the G20 countries. And last is that is skill development and role and responsibility of stakeholders. तो ये 5 ऐसे core areas थे जहाँ पे issues highlight हुई है already जब G20 labor की meeting हुई थी अमृतसर में. This is upon the part of the G20 platform only. Now some recommendations that was given. So different verticals have different recommendations. So the task force on international probability of social security fund, this is from this segment which we have discussed, right? So agar baat kare new part of changes or recommendations mein, so they recommended that the date for susceptibilities and the need for migrant should be collected and analyzed for the efficiency of social protection system. Until and unless we have a data for migrants, we will not be able to make policy for them. So it is very important to have a data collections. And even the private and social security partnership should be considered to implement the probability of the fund as a third party service provider. Now, the task force report, that is the changing world for the work, new employment opportunities and the challenges in G20 countries, proposed a roadmap to address the issue. Last, that is the labor market policy need to be designed for promoting the re-entry of employment, and even the legal obstacles for hindering the part of employment that should be removed. So each and every individual who is looking forward with the work, skilled or unskilled, basically there's a different domain that will be working for. So that should ensure that employment opportunities सारों लोगों के पास है, whether depending upon their skill and according to their part of the NLT. And even to a larger extent, government ने skilling और reskilling के लिए भी काफ़ी ऐसे initiatives लिए हैं, which is helping a lot to the people. Now, gender parity की बात की गई है. So basically efforts to equip women with the necessary skill and knowledge, the government could ensure that the engagement in the job market to promote the gender parity. So see, when it comes to the part of gender parity, still India lacks. और अभी बात करें, कोशिश की जा रही है गवर्नमेंट, इवन फॉर गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज, इफ यू सी द पार्ट ऑफ द पार्टिसिपेशन विच इज देयर, विच इज एट द लोअर साइड. So government will definitely call for gender parity, not only to improve the part of indexes and global recognition. It is very important for India's inclusive development also. Now, moving to the other news, Micron to produce first semiconductor chip and India plant. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. Now, according to the Union Minister for Communications and IT, Mr. Ashnavi Vaishnav, he has made a statement stating that the first Made in India chip are expected to be rolled out by 2024, December 24. This is what the confirmation was there from the minister. Now, the government plan 4 to 5 semiconductor plant that is expected to be set up in a country within a year. So definitely there is a push that even the government of India is focusing, and they're having a collaborations with the good tech giants. Now, India is focusing on development the ecosystem जहाँ पे semiconductors के manufacturing को बहुत ज़्यादा ही promote किया जाएगा, and even government actively engaged with the several companies which include the part of supplying acrylic resins, aluminum nitrate chemicals, and the gases required for chip making. So these all part of preparation, as a part of ingredient, as a part of equipments has been put in place, and the final process is yet to start. Now, semiconductors assemblies and testing plants की अगर बात करें, the first semiconductor जो setups हैं that for the Micron technology is coming in Sanand in Gujarat, and 2.7 billion semiconductor assemblies are testing in the plant where they produce first chip for the 6th quarter by December 2024. So this is the deadline, and if government has come up with some numbers and some date, definitely there will be achievement. Now, the plant would create almost 5,000 direct and 15,000 indirect jobs. Now, the Micron leads the memory chip manufacturing. These are world manufacturers. They go for laptops, mobile servers, electronic vehicles, telecom equipments, and is the 5th largest semiconductor company in the world. Now, investment की अगर बात करें, जो Micron investment है, that will come with the proposed part, and they have to collaborate in India. Any foreign company that is coming, they have to collaborate. So they will be collaborating with Vedanta's Foxconn JV, International Semiconductor Consortium, and the Singapore IGGS, that is venture, that is submitted for the proposals, right? The government subsequently modified the incentive schemes to attract more chip maker in October and in June 2020. See, if you see the part of the policy that government of India is focusing on, semiconductor is something that is a priority, right? And to ensure and make this more success, we need such investment and expertise from the tech giants. Now, moving to the other news, FCI rejects state request for more food grain. Recently, government has come up with the plan where they said that the open market sale scheme will restrict the sale of the grain to 100 ton. So in that context, the state have made a request, but finally the rejection was there from the Food Corporation of India. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So why government has come up with this scheme and why they're curbing the part of the overall sale? The government has said to curb the part of inflation, inflation को कम करने के लिए and to stabilize the rising price, Center has announced the open market sale of wheat and rice through the Food Corporation of India as a part of market intervention program. So these are some of the preventive measures to control the inflations. Now, the decision was taken by the center and it was criticized by the state government, specifically the state of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, because they have a program where they provide subsidies with their important schemes. Now, it is said that the union government decision will aims to restrict the food grain in the open market sale scheme, that is for domestic, to 100 ton. There are certain categories. Earlier, they were getting the part of 3,000 ton. Now, it has been restricted. The Food Corporation of India has made it clear that the center priority was to curb the inflations. Now, FCI की क्या response रही है इस पे? जो chairman और managing director FCI की has said that the maximum quantity to be sold through the open market sale was limited to accommodate small wheat processors and traders. The state government has alleged that such move was against the interest of poor. When asked about the complaint from the state government, he said that definitely at this instances, once the part of the inflation is not under control, we cannot go with increasing number, and this decision was taken by the union cabinet. So accordingly, the part of the revoking will come from the government itself. Now, government की क्या roadmap है इसको लेकर के? So the government of India is already providing food grain to 80 crore people. और अगर बात करें basically food security, National Food Security Act को देखते हुए, the government of India required the grains, right? So it is mandatory to maintain the sufficient stockpile also. Now the open market operations would carried out for the interest for those 60 crore people, and even the inflation remain under control with the rest of the countries. अभी भी inflation बहुत ज़्यादा high नहीं है, but considering the fact that we need to maintain it, the government of India is stocking. Now, the state government is going to give the food grain to the same beneficiaries under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, and they will be using the food grain for the state schemes where the identified beneficiaries are there. Now, India-US Partnership and Initiative. The Prime Minister of India is on a visit to United States, and accordingly, he's scheduled to visit Egypt also. But whatever achievements were there in the visit, during the recent visit to United States, some of the agreement and sectors include technology, defense, sustainable development, health, and the part of tracking and controlling the terrorism. So, हर एक sector में agreement हुई है. You can refer page number 13 of today's Indian Express. It's a detail that is over there. For time being, I'll be making a discussion on the entire part. This is important for General Studies paper 2, that is the effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. Now, as I told you that the Prime Minister of India was on a visit to United States, और इस visit में दोनों countries ने अपने bilateral relationship को strengthen करने की बात की है, and some of the important areas that was there include the part which I'll be discussing one by one. कौन-कौन से ऐसे areas हैं जिनको prioritize की गई है और जिन पे agreement हुई है. So among them, the first is technology. 2.7 billion semiconductor assemblies and test facility will be developed in India. Micron is a company. I've already made a discussion. अभी मैंने आपके साथ ये news discuss किया है. Semiconductor Center for Centralization and Innovation will be developed. Training of 60,000 Indian engineers by Lam Research. Inductions of India with US-led mineral security partnership. Investment of 600 million by Indian Appleton Club Limited in the US gas field, or even for the EV batteries and component. And advanced training for ISRO astronaut by NASA scientists, with an efforts to increase an overall जो strategic framework has space human craft corporations को लेकर के, that will be improved. Now this is all about technology. Moving ahead with the defense. Defense में F414 jet engine की बात की गई है. General Engineering with Hindustan Aeronautical Limited ने collaborate किया है. I have already made a discussion. If you have not watched that video, do check it out. India के कई ऐसे basically Tejas and other जेट्स हैं जिनके लिए इस इंजन से रिफ्यूलिंग काफ़ी हद तक हेल्प होगी. Procurement for the armed MQ-9 seat UAV, again the drone which will be there from United States, the advanced drone that at present, तो इंडिया इसमें भी agreement हुई. This is with regards to the conclusion for the master ship repair agreement between the Navy and the LNTC Chennai. Resolutions for the operations of tool to increase the defense cooperation, strengthening the undersea dominant awareness, and even agreement to place 3 liaising between the Indian officers and US commandos. Inaugurations of Indus X, such joint innovations and defense technologies. Sustainable development की अगर बात करें, continued work in both India and US to achieve the national climate and energy goals, reinforcing commitment for creating innovation investment and the part where the capital will attract, the part of the investment that is required for the renewable energy, technology transfer, battery storage, emerging green technology project will be developed in India in collaborations between India and United States. Indo-Pacific की अगर बात करें, Indo-Pacific is again a priority both for India and United States, so they will be working accordingly. And accordingly, they will be looking into the part of initiatives seeking to promote safe, secure, and sustainable domain, promoting the conservation and sustainable use. Health की अगर बात करें, there is a collaboration on health and Indian scientists to develop AI that is enable artificial intelligence enabled pathology, which will be utilized for cancer diagnostic. उसके अलावे जो यूएस की नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ डायबिटिक्स है, डायबिटिक्स एंड digestive kidney diseases, with the ICMR they will be looking forward with the clinical transnational research on diabetics and many other issues. See, diabetics की अगर बात करें, India has a world largest population, so the reason being India is particularly concerning on the part of the diabetics control. Now, countering global terrorism is again an important issue. कुछ important terrorist organization है जिनको ban किया गया globally, that is Al-Qaeda, ISIS, LET, JM and हिब्जुल्लाह मुजाहिदीन. ये सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस पे एक्शन लेने की बात की गई है. क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म को ख़त्म करने की बात की गई है. अर्जिंग द पार्ट ऑफ प्रॉक्सीज दैट इज देयर बाय द पाकिस्तान. सो दे US wanted and India even collaborating wanted that they should be stopped. Called for a tribal of precipitator where 26/11 and Pathankot attack should be already the claim was made by the Pakistan organizations, तो उनके खिलाफ एक्शंस की बात की गई है. Development of the broader and deeper bilateral counter-narcotics framework for disrupt and illicit productions of international trafficking for the illicit drugs. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is querying the part of the circle at India-Egypt summit. This is important where Prime Minister of India is visiting Egypt and the India-Egypt summit 2023 will take place. Important for General Studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first the theme, that is the India-Egypt summit. Background देखेंगे, India-Egypt की trade relations के बारे में, opportunities, plan and projects, challenges and the way forward. Now, if you look at the visit which Prime Minister scheduled, that is for Egypt 24 and 25th of this month, the visit will seen as a game changer with the bilateral ties between the part of India and Egypt. और recent में जो head of the state है Egypt के, he has also made a visit to India. So this is a part of an approach where both countries looking forward to strengthen their relationship. The Prime Minister of Modi will be visiting for the first time in Egypt. और official visit की अगर बात करें 1997 के बाद किसी PM की visit होगी. Now, background historically अगर बात करें India और Egypt की, they have perhaps the oldest civilization link. If you see the part of Paro-Saru-Sensi, this is called as land of Punt, which is a historical identifier in the peninsular India. उसके अलावा जो इंडिगो आइडेंटिफाई की गई है इजिप्टियन ममीज में, there was something sourced from India and even from West Bengal. So it is evident of the fact that yes, there's a close link between India and Egypt. India-Egypt trade relations की अगर बात करें, there's a sixth trading partner, largest trading partner, and Egypt was India's 38th partner. Investment की अगर बात करें, over 50 projects that is there, totaling of 3.515 billion. Egypt has invested 37 billion in India. There are less than 5,000 Indian in Egypt, and nearly a fifth of them are being a student. तो studies के लिए भी काफ़ी लोग वहाँ पे हैं. And there is a joint commissions, foreign office consulate, and for at least 9 joint working group that is working. Opportunities between these two countries. So in the forthcoming summit, both countries will look forward for the management exercises. It will need to leverage the opportunities while avoiding the pitfall which is there. So definitely to overcome and even to improve the part of bilateral relationship, we need to reduce or completely vanish the pitfalls. So Egypt is a country with a population of 1.105 million and an economy of 378 billions. Politically stable and socio-economic conditions are there, which is quite similar to India. And Egypt is the largest importer of refinery petroleum. और अगर वीड्स की बात करें, वर्ल्ड की लार्जेस्ट इंपोर्टर इजिप्ट ही है. The other part include cars, pawns, and pharmaceutical, and these all are coming from India, and India is a potential supplier. So definitely, a trade relation in this context will be very important. Now, plan and projects की बात करें, the Egyptian government has an ambitions for infrastructure development agenda. 49 mega projects की बात की गई है in the new Cairo with the investment of 25 billion. Nuclear plant is also added on that, and apart from that, high-speed rail connectivity. During 1519, Egypt was the world's largest arms importer, and at present, the opportunities are there for India. Challenges, there's not everything good going. There's challenges which still exist. The Egyptian economy एक serious crisis के दौर से गुजर रही है, and even the financial commitment which was there has something called for an interference in the static economy. Pandemic के बाद काफ़ी ज़्यादा slowdown हुई है, और यूक्रेन conflict के अलावे के बाद basically जो supply chain disruption है, that is also evident. Consequently, tourism काफ़ी dropped हुई है Egypt में, which contribute the part substantial contributions. Inflation is above 30%, just to correct, 30%, and the currency has lost more than the value since February 2022. So काफ़ी ज़्यादा disruption है. Inflation up to 30% is very, very high. Now, foreign exchange scarcity has differed for the payment for the initial read. और 3 billion bailout package की भी बात की जा रही है with the IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, right? And the part of the foreign debt that is there is 163 billion, and the net foreign assets is basically minus to 24.1 billions. Now, how and the ways out for India and Egypt? What are the things that both countries need to focus upon? First, India and Egypt need to have a careful balance in the exposure of their opportunities and their hand. तो जो countries के पास जिस तरह की potential है, accordingly वो collaborate कर सकते हैं and help each other. Now, in the part of the managing eco-political risk, the part of the Egypt lucrative opportunities which is there for the innovations such as Exim line, credit barter, and rupee trading can be an options. Now, in May, like instead, India can have a trilateral funding arrangement for such project in Egypt which is pending, and even the partner with the Gulf G-20 and multilateral financial institution will help and provide cushions to the infrastructure project that is ongoing in Egypt. तो इंडिया अपने G20 प्लेटफॉर्म्स को भी यूज़ करके और भी जो मेंबर कंट्रीज हैं उनको भी यहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए हेल्प कर सकता है. एंड इवन द पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्रीज डेफिनेटली रिक्वायर द डेवलपमेंट ओवरऑल विल कॉल फॉर प्रोस्पेरिटी अक्रॉस द ग्लोब. So this is how you can conclude your way forward. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है सेंट्रल बैंक डिजिटल करेंसी के बारे में. And even like it's a legal tender issued by the Reserve Bank of India, the wholesale digital currency was designed and for restriction use of the select financial institutions. So do check out for the correct option. The second question of the day, that is International Conference on Election Management Bodies. It was hosted by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementations. It was held under the aegis of United States Summit on Democracy platform. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more contemporary current affair question will give you an added advantages and prelims and many other competitive examinations. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern and queries about the courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching.